Welcome to the Ignorance is Strength podcast. I'm your host, Fabian motherfucking Ojeda, and I don't know shit, but that's okay. All right, let's get this shit started. Thank you everybody for listening to the Ignorance is Strength podcast. Hope you all enjoyed episode number 75 with Ashley Lawson, the soon-to-be big star in acting. Wish her a lot of success in everything she's doing, and we'll make sure to keep an eye out for her. But we're back with a very familiar voice. She's been on the podcast twice before, and we're kind of catching up here because we've gone through a journey here with Miss Victoria Cat. How you doing today?
I'm all right. It's just a lot of bullshit that's happening. Like, I tell you, my life is a roller coaster. Like, my life could be like Kim Kardashian TV reality, you know?
Yeah.
It's just shit hits the fan and then it just keeps spewing.
Yeah, and I follow you on Instagram, but I mean, you also got your YouTube stories that you put out there. So I mean, if people want to catch up with you and stay informed, it's kind of a roller coaster.
Oh yeah. Literally, my almost burnt down last weekend.
You said what now?
My house almost burnt down last weekend.
So I mean, you got some kind of bad juju going on then, it seems.
Oh yeah. Somebody has put some sort of curse, karma, whatever on me because I don't know, shit hit the fan since last week of July 2021, and it's just kept going and going and going.
I watched your LFC interview and you mentioned that you were in your Chinese zodiac year. Is that true?
Yeah, it's the year of the ox.
And having watched a TV show called Fresh Off the Boat, I remember there was an episode where they talked about, when it's your Chinese zodiac year, you have a really shitty year as far as luck goes. And so I would venture to say that you would agree with that.
Well, honestly, my 2021 was going so well until March. And then it was all right for April and May. And it's kind of everywhere, it was ups and downs the entire month. I mean, year. I bet you so much more is going to happen, in the future now. But, dude, I've literally used all three of, what are those things called when, I don't know what it's called, when you use all of the services, fire department, police, EMS, all that. We've used all three of those this year alone, we've never had to do that, we barely ever used the EMS. We've never really needed the fire truck, and police have come once or twice in the entire time that I've lived there. So I don't know, man, some sort of voodoo shit,
Well, hoping to hear better, but we're gonna go down the path a little bit of what's been going on, and when we first talked to you, you were doing the OnlyFans thing. And then you jumped over to doing the Pornhub thing, and people were really, intrigued by that. I'll tell you what, you actually had thousands of, I think 4,000, 5,000 views on YouTube on that video. And it's not even video, it's just an interview, it's all audio. And for me, that's weird because I don't get any YouTube plays on the podcast. I get 10, but you had 4 or 5,000, something it keeps going every day. So people were really intrigued by that. But at some point, and this happened to your Instagram too, because your Instagram is getting pretty big, right? You were censored, right? And so, I'll let you tell the story right now, but just to kind of give people reference, you had your Instagram, your backup Instagram taken down, and you're no longer on which platform? I believe that no longer on Pornhub, right?
Right, because those things are two separate stories, but I can tell you them both. So, which one do you want me to start with?
Let's start with the downfall of Instagram.
Okay, so the page that usually shouts me out, it's I am sorry. So I get shouted out by Women's MMA Cheeks page. So it's WMMA Cheeks, right? So they have over 60,000 followers, and they were always sharing me, and I was gaining all my following from that, and other shout outs as well. And then one random day, like I was just like really testing it. And I kind of low-key posted a nude on my Instagram. And then they were like, they flagged that, right? And then, but that was weird because like they let that go up for so long. And then they just said that they took it down. Just the photo just got taken down, right? And then it was a warning or whatever. I was like, oh, sick. Like I actually got away with that shit, right? And then I got shared on MMA Teak's page, right? And then I started getting a lot of hate on that page. Like literally like everybody was talking how nasty I was. And I was like, hey, I don't know what the fuck the problem is, but like clearly they're not liking me, right? And then he literally just tagged that account. And then I think he tagged the backup one as well, or maybe they just followed it from the profile. But I just remember I was like, hey, fuck this. I'm just gonna like get off of Instagram for the night. Like I'm gonna go to sleep. Like fuck it, whatever. Like they can hate all they want. Like I'll just like read it in the morning or whatever. And then I like exit out the app and then I go to sleep. And then the next day I wake up and I'm locked out of both of my accounts. And then it didn't even say why. It just said like, I don't even know. It just said you've violated our terms. It's permanently deleted. And I'm like, oh, fuck me. And then I'm like, I just lost everything. So now I have to go back, start over. But I've made a Twitter so that maybe if people follow me there, because like you can post more explicit stuff on Twitter and not get it taken down. So I don't know, maybe just try to go hard on Twitter, you know?
Yeah, so it seems kind of like it was a childish thing. I mean, somebody just got like upset at you for whatever reason and started reporting you. Because I just remember one day you just disappeared. I'm like, where'd you go? Because you're pretty active on there, you know? And yeah, just all of a sudden I'm like, okay, just puff out of nowhere, right? But you're on Twitter now. Are you rebuilding? I know the thing about that is I know you were really looking to build that following, right? And you've been doing a good job. You've been promoting yourself all over the place. And you know, are you anywhere near rebuilding that?
For Twitter, it's a lot harder, but I've hit over 1,000 followers in 1 month since I made the new account. So I think I'm doing pretty well for Instagram.
And so what? Go ahead.
I was just going to say, like, I'm trying to work on OnlyFans now because that's a whole other story.
I wanted to touch on that. Yeah. Because I mean, you know, when you came back to Instagram, you know, I even, I think, or I don't know if it was before or after, but you were sharing some drama that was going on with some family, right? And kind of shit hit the fan there. And, you know, you were kind of being like, I want to say maybe like threatened or something like that to remove your explicit accounts, right? And it was just kind of weird, you know, how that came about. I'll let you go ahead and tell that story.
I was so mad. Okay. Okay. Sorry, I have to like really calm myself before because I'm gonna get so mad. But like, I remember I was in the living room with my mom and my dad was home, but he wasn't in the living room at that time. I think he was taking a shower or something. And I'm just talking about like whatever, Kim Kardashian and Kylie Jenner, like all that bullshit, right? And then all of a sudden, like her phone is ringing. And then she's like, what the fuck? And like, she's like talking, she tells me that it's her sister. And she's like, she never calls me. Like, what is this? And then she like picks it up. And then she like starts like breathing really heavily, like she's scared. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, I was like, yo, did like my cousin get in a car accident? Like, what is wrong? Right. And then next thing you know, she's like, are you on a site called OnlyFans? And I was like, who told you? I was like, who told you? And then she's like, your cousin. And I was like, hey, one, how did he find that? Two, why the hell is he getting all up in my business? And three, why the hell are you trying to tell me like I'm a child? So that all went down. Like, dude, my parents and my aunt were all like, my mom was in my room, my dad was in my room with me, and then my aunt was on the phone, speakerphone. And then they were all trying to like be like, you need to stop doing that. This is why you're doing all this shit is because of your rape. And like, you need to like calm down, like stop acting out because of your rape. Like you need to go to therapy and all that shit. Right. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, I literally chose to do this. Like, this has nothing to do with my rape experience. Like, I don't know why they need to always blame that shit on that. But like, And then where was I going with this? And then yeah, so they keep yelling at me or whatever, and then my aunt hangs up, and then my parents bitching me some more, and then the next day comes by, and then they're like trying to convince me to take it down or whatever. And then I didn't actually take it down. And then my cousin, he's like, and by the way, the entire time he's like checking in on me. He's like, you better fucking delete it. I swear to God, like if you were my child, you'd be fucking dead right now. Like you're so lucky that you're not my kid right now. I was like, bitch, why the fuck do you care? Right? He's like, somebody's got it. And I was like, oh my God, like, let me do what I want. Like, fuck off. Like you are not even in my life. Like you don't even live in Calgary or Canada. So like, get the fuck out of here. Right. And then he's like, bitch, don't talk to me like that. I'm only going to do this for your mental health and your like whatever. And I was like, shut the fuck up. Right. Like we went back and forth. And then I was like, you could have went to me before you went to my mom and like your mom. Like, why couldn't you speak out? He's like, I didn't know how to like bring it up to you. And I was like, this is so fucking stupid. Right. And then he just kept bitching at me some more. And then he's like, I better see some screenshots of the proof that you have deactivated or deleted your accounts. And I'm like, what the fuck? And then I did that because he's like, if you don't do it, I'm going to force you to like do it in front of your parents, even though I don't even live there. Like, he's like, if you're not going to do it in front of me, like it's going to be hella more embarrassing to do it in front of your parents and have them see all your shit. I was like, oh my God, like he's something else. I'm telling you, like, this gets me so mad. And then I did it, and then
you know what I wonder though, really quick, how he stumbled upon it, right? I mean, you don't just stumble upon things like that, and it's like you're not on there for for these pure altruistic reasons, like you're doing something on there.
I literally asked him, I'm like, how the hell did you find this shit? I was like, were you purposely looking that up? And he's like, he didn't even answer the question. He's like, shut up. And then he like hangs up the phone. I'm like, what is your problem? I'm like, what the fuck? And then him and his girlfriend that he's living with in Germany, they're like searching up mental health clinics for me to go like book an appointment and all that. They're like, you better book an appointment. Like, I better see the proof of it, blah, blah, blah. Like, you're not getting away with this shit. I'm like, dude, you are not even a brother. Like, you're a cousin. And like, you're treating me like you're my fucking father. Like, fuck off with that hoe.
See, now the thing that I am a little bothered by there is that, they're talking about mental health, but the worst thing you can do, let's say they really were concerned about your mental health, right? The worst thing you can do is try to force you to do something you don't want to do. That's just, adding to whatever issue they think is there,
Yeah.
It doesn't work that way, but you did end up keeping the OnlyFans profile, right? But you got rid of the Pornhub one. Why did you decide to get rid of that one?
So I actually did delete the OnlyFans, like the one that my main account, and then I deactivated my Pornhub. So it's not gone completely. It's just deactivated. So like if I want to bring it back, I can. I'm just like low key trying to wait till my cousin stops being a fucking creep. But I created a new OnlyFans, and I'm just starting over because like I can't get that other one back. So. And I only deleted it because he literally was holding it over my head that like he was going to make my parents like look at my content. And I was like, what the fuck? Stop being a cunt.
Did your parents have anything to say about it? I mean, I know your mom was like really surprised, right? But I mean,
like, that's so wrong. Disgusting. Like, why would you do that in our house? Like, why would you put us at risk like that? Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, you're so nasty. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, just get the fuck on with it. Like, I was like, dude, you're literally like stuck in your time. I was like, it's accepted in my era. Like, you need to get the fuck over it. Like, stop being so. Is the word prejudice the one that prejudice? Is that the word that I'm looking for? I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean, it applies.
Yeah, like, I don't understand why. I'm like, dude, she's like, it's going to affect you for the rest of your life. I'm like, bro, like, my work already knows that I do sex work. Like, who gives a fuck? She's like, what about future employers? And I'm like, I bet you some won't even bother checking. Like, what the fuck? Not every single person goes deep dive into somebody's personal shit. Like, they didn't do that for this job that I'm at right now. And I've been here for almost 4 years.
I think in this day and age, let's say 5-10 years from now, when you have some of these young girls that are sex workers, like, you're going to be very hard pressed to find like an employee or potential employee that didn't have some sort of,
Right.
profile up. I mean, even, like pre OnlyFans and that kind of stuff. I remember there was always, like, in every job I ever worked, like every school I ever worked at, even, or restaurant or bar or whatever, there was always somebody that, had like some sort of nude modeling photos or something racy in their past, right? So
Right.
like what people do in their past is their past, so I get what you're saying. um I get your parents' old school point of view, because a lot of people have not changed that, but ultimately you do what you want to do.
Right. I'm 23 and they're like, you can't do this while you're in this house. And I'm like, hey, I'll leave. She's like, you're not going to make it out there. You're not going to last. You're going to be homeless. Like, you're not going to come back to us. Like, we're not helping you. We're not helping you look for a place. We're not helping you move. I'm like, hey, fuck you. I'm going to do it by myself. Like, I got friends, like, whatever, like, fuck you. And then this morning, craziest thing ever. I mean, not that like she did it for everything, but like, because I told her that, like, she's like, what did we ever do to you to like make you hate us that much? And I was like, you've embarrassed me in my whole life. Like, and not just like a funny embarrassing, like to a point where like my friends don't want to be my friends anymore because of her. And like, she's like, this morning, she's like, I just wanted to say that I'm really sorry that I embarrassed you in your childhood. Like, if I could go back, I would and change that. I would. Like, I would have never done that to you. I didn't know that I was embarrassing you. And I'm like, why the fuck do you think that I don't bring people to my house? Like, I always go to people's houses. Like, I don't bring friends over. I don't bring boyfriends over. Like, I barely even let them meet my friends meet my family. So like, she just can't seem to figure it out. It's like, I'm not trying to be rude, but like, like I've resented her for like a lot of shit that she's done. And like, I don't know, it's just like, why did I have to go through so much bullshit? I mean, maybe other people had to go through worse, but I mean, always being terrorized by your mother just does not make you grow up to be like, you know, I don't know what the word I'm looking for is.
Right,
You
but I
know,
mean, there's definitely a lot of work to be done there, and you know, whatever you got to do to hash that out, some sort of counseling. I don't know if you've already gone through that, or if you plan to, but I mean, there's definitely a lot to hash out there. But really quickly, on to tie a bow in this subject, because we're going to jump to another one really quickly.
or
Um,
LFC or
are
whatever.
Yes, are you going to continue doing the sex worker thing for the foreseeable future?
Why not? I mean, I made a new account and I'm like, it honestly just like made me feel better that I had one. So like, I'm just gonna be like, fuck you, like, do whatever you want. Like, I'm done trying to give a fuck. Like, I only have one life and I'm not gonna waste it by like holding myself back for people that aren't even in my life, like
Okay.
physically.
Yeah, for sure. All right. So moving on, because I know you had limited time today. And again, I really want to thank you for joining us so we can, put this episode out. I made sure to wait because this is the one I wanted to put out this week, right?
Yeah.
Now, you were approached about an opportunity to compete in MMA for the Lingerie Fighting Championship, right? I mean, I've heard of them before. They have a lot of like pro wrestlers in there, women's MMA fighters, models. It's kind of a crazy concept. I wondered too if it was like legit or not, because I mean, it's kind of like the weight classes don't really matter, right? And it's really like based on fan appeal. But what is your what kind of hand do you have in that right now?
So the way that I was told that it works is that they have 3 rounds where they like go through girls to like get their final people that they want to have like on the show or whatever. And I got to the second round. I didn't make it to the third round, but the people that can make it to the third round, they get to like fly out to wherever their show is for free and like compete or whatever. And I'm like, dude, do you know how fun that would be? But like they said that because I was like, oh damn, I didn't win. And they're like, that's okay. Like you can still promote your whatever that thing is, this stats, like that photo that has like the 2 girls first, whatever. So like they're like, just keep promoting that. And like there's other ways that you can like still participate and like get a chance. And I was like, oh, cool. So like, I guess they just want to make it easier for like more people to have a chance. But I don't know. I mean, they said that I did pretty well for just getting to the second round. So, you know.
I think, and I've got to say, because I was voting for you in both rounds, and it was a little confusing, because I was looking for a link to vote, and first time around I didn't find one. And you said you have to vote on the comments, and you had more comments than anybody. Second round as well. You had more comments than anybody, but there was a link I noticed, and you had to do like a paid vote type of thing. Is that what it was? Because if it was just on comments, I guarantee you would have moved on to the next round.
I think it is also that paid thing, but like there you can do free votes as well, but it's only like one per day or whatever. But honestly, like I didn't think I was gonna make it to the third round anyway, so like I didn't really promote it that much for the second round. But like honestly, like I thought it was just something to do for fun. Like, when I did those booty wars when like the girls would like verse about their ass. Like I thought it'd be like that. And then I didn't really know that there was like actual like real fight at the end of it. But I'm like, at least I made it to the second round. So I'm happy with that. I mean, I'm usually always second anyway, so whatever.
Was that something you would want to pursue? Because I mean, I think it would be pretty cool because you're into MMA. You've been training, you've been doing your Muay Thai, you've been going back to grappling and everything. Is that something you would want to pursue, or you would want to go a more traditional route and do a more like a local show, not so gimmicky, or would you be open to that LFC gimmick?
I mean, I've thought about it. I'm like, how cool would that be to like just have that experience? But then I'm like, I don't know if I'd like want to fight naked. Because like how like I'm sure they have lots of outfit malfunctions. So I mean, I don't know, maybe it would be fun. Like I think I wouldn't say no if I did get the opportunity. I mean, another fighter promoter, he actually is the one that introduced me to the LFC, and he offered me and my teammates to go to Florida in December to fight, and they would pay for flight and hotel. I'm like, dude, do you know how cool that would be? So
yeah, I mean,
or,
I think the one they were advertising would have been Vegas, so you would have been having a good time on that one.
Oh yeah, for sure. Oh yeah, I would document everything.
Yeah, for sure. Now before we get out of here, I know again you have short time today. I wanted to get your thoughts on the recent UFC, because I know your air quotes husband there fought, right. He made his return after what 6-7 years.
Right.
Nick Diaz, he came back and fought Robbie Lawler. What happened?
Don't even talk about it. I mean, my heart is still hurt. I'm so sad that he lost. Like, honestly, like my heart actually felt broken when like he fell to the ground. It was like, I was like, no, you were so good. He was doing so well. Like he was defending so well and like attacking really well. And I really thought he was gonna win it but Robbie's fucking strong. Like I feel like he's one of the strongest people other than Kamaru Usman. But like it broke my heart. I was definitely a sad panda. But like at least he came back. I should be happy that he actually like competed, and he lasted longer than one round.
I was a little concerned when he moved weight classes. I was like, whoa, he's not going to make weight. And he moved it from 170 to 185, but he looked good. He looked good in there just till the end right there. I was wondering what happened at the end. I'm like, did he give up, or did he get injured? I'm like, what the hell happened when I was watching it?
I think maybe because like from what I thought that happened, I don't know for sure if he actually did, but like from what I thought happened was like Robbie punched him like straight in the nose, and like I don't know if he maybe like broke the nose, like it kind of looked busted, and I was like, maybe his nose is broken, he couldn't breathe. I don't know. I mean, only he could know what happened. I don't think he's the type to give up. I think he was truly hurt and couldn't really take the hit as well as he would when he was like 25, 26.
Do you think he gets back in there, or he calls it quits?
I mean, personally, I think he would not come back. I mean, why would you want to like, because if he wants to fight Kamaru Usman, then he has to cut weight to 170. And if he didn't want to do it for Robbie, I mean, I guess if the championship was on the line, he would probably do it, but he wouldn't just come back for no one.
Right. Yeah, it'd definitely be an uphill battle there. All right. Well, is there anything else you wanted to throw out there to the podcast world? You know, and if not, you know, plug your social media and where people can find you.
Word, what else? I don't know if I have any, don't really have any things. I mean, I just got a lot of bullshit that's happening this year. So, I mean, my new Instagram, I mean, it's just Victoria _cat 1997. I should have changed it to like Victoria cat _ 1997, but then I'm like, I didn't think about that till after I made it. So I'm like, whatever. So, you know, it's the first one. And then Victoria cat 1997 for everything else, like Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, and OnlyFans. Sorry.
Yeah, well, that's where we know you from originally. So yeah, again, thank you so much for being on. You know, we're gonna have you back on again at some point. It's inevitable. When you get your first fight up there, we'll touch base, because I think that's gonna happen, and I'd like to see it happen. You know, your Muay Thai's looking good. You know, from the videos that I saw. So hopefully, you know, you get like a smoker in there at some point or something like that. And I haven't seen too much of your grappling though, so maybe you should post a little more of that.
Word, I did a lot of training yesterday and I was dying. So I'll definitely make some training videos soon.
For sure. Yeah. So you know what? When you're working on something, you know, keep us in the loop, and we'll have you back on. But for everybody listening at home, I appreciate it. Thank you. Fuck you and good night. Subscribe to the Ignorance is Strength podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts. Like, follow, and share on Facebook and Instagram at Ignorance is Strength Podcast, and on Twitter at The Ignorance Pod.